Hello everyone, hope you all are fine. So today we again are going to discuss the more of the project network, and then we'll discuss the steps of the critical path method. But before discussing the steps, let's first have a quick recap what we discussed in our previous lecture. There we discussed what the critical path method is, and we discussed about the project network. Actually we were discussing the project network, and this is the same example that we were discussing in our yesterday's lecture, and the link for that is given in the description box. So I told you that the project network is nothing but it is a network of different activities, and it's the same example that we were discussing yesterday. There I told you that we have 5 activities in this particular diagram. This is an example, just A, B, C, D and E. We have 5 activities and all are interrelated together, and these arrows, they represent these are the arcs and they represent the activities, and these circles, these are called the nodes, and they represent the start and end point of the project or the network. So suppose activity A, if it starts at node 1, it's starting at node 1 and it ends at node 2. And if this activity takes, suppose I write an example here that it takes 2 days to get completed. Suppose if it starts on May 1st and it will be completed by May 3. So that is the time duration of this activity to get completed is the 2 days. This is where we actually write the time duration in the project network diagram. And suppose if the activity B takes only 2 hours to get completed, suppose it will start at 4 a.m. in the morning and it is scheduled to get completed at 6 o'clock in the morning. So this is the time duration of activity B, and it will get completed at node 3. So when an activity A is completed at node 2, only then activity B or C can be started, because they both are dependent on the activity A. And accordingly, once B and C are completed, only then D and E can be started. Or suppose if B gets completed first, then D can be started, and if C gets completed first, then E can be started. And finally, when D and E gets completed, then the whole project is said to be completed. And as far as this example is concerned, the whole project will get completed at node 5. So this is all about the project network. Now let's discuss the steps that are involved in the critical path method or critical path method project planning. So the first step is the specify, second is determine, third is draw, fourth is estimate, fifth is identify, and the last is update. As far as the first step, the specify, is concerned, here we have to specify all the individual activities that are related to the project, right? And the second step, determine, here we have to determine all those we have to determine the sequence of all those activities, right? And the third step, draw, here we have to draw the network diagram. Then estimate, and we have to estimate here the completion time for each activity. And the next step, identify, and here we have to identify the critical path, and that is the longest path through network. Last one is the update, and here we have to update the CPM diagram as the project progresses. So accordingly, we have to update our project network diagram. So now let's discuss all these steps in detail one by one. So the first step is the specify. Here we can use actually the work breakdown structure. It can be used to identify all the activities that are involved in the project, and this is the main input for the CPM here. And now this listing can be used as the basis for adding the sequences. So when we want to add on activities as well as the duration info in the steps, we can use this method. So the second step here is the determine, and in this step the correct sequence is established, and for that you need to ask the 3 questions for each task of your list. So first question is that you need to ask is which tasks should take place before these tasks happen, and second, which tasks should be completed at some time as this task, and third question, which tasks should happen immediately after this task. So these are the 3 questions that you need to ask, right, for each task of your list. So our next step is draw. Once the activity sequence is correctly identified, the network diagram can be drawn. And like this is just a sample diagram. Earlier these diagrams were drawn on a paper, but nowadays there are so many computer softwares for this purpose only. So this is the same diagram that I discussed with you. Hope you can get it. So our next step is the estimate. So now here the time required to complete each activity can be estimated, using the past experiences, or you can use the estimates of the knowledgeable persons. So whoever knows, who has done the activity before, he or she will be able to tell you how much time is required to do a particular activity. Or if you yourself have done an activity before, you will be in a position, just by your past experiences, you will be able to identify or estimate the activity time. Next step is your identify. This is the longest path through the network, and so the significance of the critical path is that activity that lie on it cannot be delayed without delaying the project. So if you are making an estimate that a particular project is starting on day 1 and after 8 days it should be completed, so we have to ensure that all the activities which are involved in it should be completed in that period. So the critical path, as I told you, that it is the longest path through the network diagram, and all the activities have an effect on the deadline of the project. So if an activity of this path is delayed, the project will be delayed, and in case if the project management need to accelerate the project, the times for the critical path activities should be reduced. So here this critical path can be identified by determining the 4 parameters of each activity of the network. So the first parameter is ES, that is the earliest start time, which means when to start a particular activity and how early an activity can be started. Second parameter is EF, which means earliest finish time, that is how early can you finish the particular activity. So the earlier you start and earlier you are going to finish it, that depends on you. And our third parameter is LF, which means the latest finish time, which means the latest time an activity can finish without delaying the project. Our last parameter is LS, which means the latest start time, and here LS is equivalent to LF, that is the latest finish time. So if you are starting little late, you are going to finish it late, but you have to ensure the project should not be delayed at all. So this also depends on you. So this was the step of identify, and our last step is the update. So here you have to update the CPM diagram, as I told you, as the project progresses, so you have to update it accordingly. So the actual task completion times will be known, and the network diagram can be updated to include this information. So as and when the activity is getting completed, the project diagram needs to be updated. Then a new critical path can also be emerged due to some changes made in the project, and if the project requires any change or new activities can be added on. So these were all the steps that are involved in the CPM project planning. So I hope this is clear to you all, and in our next lecture we will discuss the advantages and disadvantages of the critical path method. So I'll see you next week. Till then, take care and have a great time.